As we wait now for the lights here, round 8 at Silverstone, we have Alain Prost lining up in the lead with Ayrton Senna in second and Emerson Fittipaldi in third. And out go the lights, and it is Prost leading into turn 1 on the inside into Copse, and immediately Ross Cheever trying to make his way up behind Alain Prost. Cheever doing a very good job there. Started in, I believe, what was 4th place. Right up to the back of Alain Prost now. As they go on to the hangar straight. And Cheever is going to try and move up the inside. Let's see, can he pull it off? Oh, they're side by side, Cheever and Prost. And Prost will just edge ahead. Oh, and there's a bit of a collision there. Bit of a collision between Nelson Piquet and I think that was Ayrton Senna. But it was only Piquet taking the brunt of that. And you might see a retirement here instantly for Nelson Piquet, as it seems he doesn't or isn't able to start his car. And now Prost making a bit of a gap. Take a bit further, look a bit further back, as Emerson Fittipaldi and Theo Fabi are in 4th and 5th. And yes, there is confirmation there that Nelson Piquet is out of the race. Very unfortunate for the Benetton squad, but they will have to carry on with only René Arnoux still in the fight. And now we see Ayrton Senna right onto the back of Ross Cheever, and he tries to make a move there, but can't quite manage it before Beckett's, and then into Chapel, I believe. And now on the straightaway, Senna is gonna come at Cheever again on the inside. Can he manage this time? Cheever will try to hold around the outside, but Senna gets a bit better of a run. Let's see, can he pull it off? Into the braking, Cheever gets ahead once again. A good scrap here for 2nd place, as Emerson Fittipaldi is now in that fight as well. And then leading the 2nd train, we have Kazuyoshi Hoshino with Stefan Johansson in the arrows right behind. And we also have Satoru Nakajima in the 2nd Lotus with Roberto Moreno right behind him. And now head onto the farm straight and then into Bridge. And down to Priory. And actually Michael Andretti in the Tyrrell not doing a bad job either in 11th, with Al Unser, his teammate, right behind in 12th. Actually, if I can get the automatic camera on. I'm not sure if it works for this track, but we'll see there as Andretti tries to get a move off on Ivan Capelli in front in the 2nd McLaren, and I think actually Capelli tried to move there on Nakajima, but isn't gonna succeed. Meanwhile, Prost is taking a big lead here with Emerson Fittipaldi now gotten past Ayrton Senna and is gonna try a move here. And oh, smoothly past Ross Cheever there, so very good move by Fittipaldi. The old man has still got it. And now defensive there for Cheever as Senna closes up onto him. And then right behind there is Theo Fabi as well in the 2nd Ferrari, waiting to pounce. Now let's take a look a bit further back now. See here, once again, Andretti closing up to the back of Ivan Capelli, so let's stay on board with Capelli here for a little bit, or let's follow him around, as both of the Tyrrells are hounding him. Oh, and then a 2nd issue there for one of the Benettons, a throttle issue there for René Arnoux. So Benetton really not having a good time here today. And Arnoux will surely have to come in for into the pits for a quick fix. But let's see now if Capelli can hold off the two Tyrrells. He has created a little bit of distance as he goes through Maggots and Beckett's. But then you can slowly see those Tyrrells closing up. And let's see on the straightaway if they can manage something. No, not quite. But the two teammates are fighting here. And who will it be that edges out ahead? It will still be Michael Andretti coming out of Stowe. Slightly defensive there. Saying to Al Unser Jr., no, you're not getting past. I want to first get past even Capelli here. And Ross Cheever now slowly dropping back from third, I believe. Let's take a bit of a look back here with Eddie Cheever. For the Leighton House, the March squad, with Jeff Lees right behind him. So Williams at least are putting up a fight here a bit more. They've been struggling at the back of the field for the whole season. At least they're putting up a fight here with the likes of Marsh and Zach Speed. So that is good to see. It is still very apparent that the Williams squad is missing a lot of straight line speed compared to most of these teams. But Jeff Lees there with a very decent move as he goes side by side with Eddie Cheever, but again doesn't quite have the oomph on the straightaways. Let's once again see here as they head onto the hangar straight. Jeff Lees is gonna try once again, but does he have enough overspeed? Let's see. He's on the inside, but no, has to slot in behind Eddie Cheever, and this is a battle that might be lasting quite a bit here. Jeff Lees again showing his nose. No, nothing there. Let's take a look a bit further forward as we have Stefan Johansson trying to fend off Satoru Nakajima, and in the meanwhile he's giving his teammate Roberto Moreno a bit more space in front in 7th place. So whether this is deliberate, I don't know. But Johansson so far doing a fairly good job keeping Nakajima behind, and obviously Moreno is only about a second and a half behind Kazuyoshi Hoshino in 6th place. So the arrows again bordering on those points. They're gonna be looking for a points finish for sure, as Nakajima now tries to go up the inside of Johansson, and Johansson yields as they come up to Maggots and Beckett's. But surely Johansson will try and get a try and put up a response to that move of Nakajima. And oh, actually Moreno with an electrical issue for Moreno. So he will have to come into the pits. He's doing so well up until now, trailing right behind the points there. Yeah, will have to come in to fix that issue surely, as he now drops back into the clutches of Nakajima. But him being slow here might at least get Stefan Johansson right onto the back of Nakajima. Oh, as Johansson actually runs wide there, trying to get past his teammate on the left. Oh, and there's a calamity now. Calamity with Moreno moving slow. Capelli smashes into the back of him. And Moreno is forming a bit of a roadblock here as all the cars are trying to get past. He had a long way to go for some repairs, and yeah, he is hindering some of these drivers now. As Lees now comes through, and then right behind will be Thierry Boutsen. See now if Moreno can pull off. Yes, he is gonna pull off. So there he goes into the pits, and let's Take another look here. I'm not sure if the automatic camera is working actually. I don't think it is. So I will have to manually cycle through the drivers here. But Capelli now actually got overtaken by Michael Andretti. So in that whole calamity of Moreno dropping back, Andretti actually managing to get past, but now Capelli is gonna try something on the outside, but doesn't quite manage. In the meanwhile, towards the back of the field, Jeff Brabham with a throttle issue, so he will have to make an early pit stop. And yeah, Michael Andretti now trying to create some space as they're going into, I think that's that was the farm straight, or club, I mean, into Abbey, and this is the farm straight into Bridge. But Andretti doing a very good job here, keeping ahead of the, well, quite superior McLaren car behind him. This is driver skill coming into play, surely here. Go back a bit further now, opposed to his teammate Ross Cheever. Keiji Matsumoto not having the best of times. Matsumoto sitting out last race for Cheever, and this time around Martin de Knecht has elected to put Cheever in Mario Andretti's car. And well, Cheever has definitely impressed for the Minardi squad. Had a very good first race, and with a podium finish, I believe, if I remember correctly, was a third place for Cheever. So instantly impressed the team boss, and well, is now showing his worth as well by, well, outperforming his teammate by quite a margin now. And it seems that Jeff Brabham now is out of the race with that throttle issue, so didn't manage to get back to the pits. And unfortunately, that means a retirement for the Williams. But Matsumoto holding on so far with Al Unser Jr. behind him. And let's take a look here as Johansson is still trying to, well, hunt down Michael Andretti in front of him, as they have lost touch with Satoru Nakajima for Lotus. Gonna try and move, but not quite. And then another battle we have going on here is between Ross Cheever and Ayrton Senna, as they're heading down the hangar straight, and Senna's gonna try something up the inside. Let's see, can he manage? Oh, that's a good run for Senna up the inside there, but Cheever is gonna try and hold on here side by side into the club section, and Cheever gets ahead once again. And these guys scrapping has made it so that Teo Fabi has also caught up, and he has a good run now on Ayrton Senna. Try something, he's gonna try and go up the inside here. Ooh, very close, and Senna actually gets a bit spooked there by Teo Fabi. Makes a small mistake, but is still ahead. This surely leaves him vulnerable. He's now outside of the slipstream of Ross Cheever ahead, so yeah, that might be a bit of an issue. And actually, Ivan Capelli now with an issue, I think. Yeah, so even Capelli went off in the Abbey chicane, I believe that is, or Abbey corner. So Capelli dropping back quite a bit now. So a mistake for even Capelli, unfortunately. Moreno now trying his best to make his way up to the back of the field again. But it'll be a long race for him. He does have plenty of time to recover, of course. And Alain Prost still in a demanding lead, so Prost feeling good here at Silverstone. Obviously, Would be nice here for McLaren to win their home race. And definitely doing a fairly good job so far, as Fittipaldi is trying to put up a good fight, but seems to be dropping back slowly but surely. Let's see here what the last lap times were. So, oh yeah, very close between Prost and Fittipaldi there. You can see 31.5 for Prost and 31.6 for Fittipaldi. That might only be a difference in fuel load, you know. We'll have to take a look. As you can see now, only 400ths between the two. 400ths in the lap times between the two now, and yeah, that is very impressive, and Fittipaldi will try his best to really catch up. And as we know, McLaren and Ferrari in a fierce title battle so far, with Ligier not too far behind. But the championship fight definitely seems to be between Ferrari and McLaren, as they're only 1 point apart from each other. And now we have Cheever again under attack by Senna. Let's see what happens here now. Ooh, really good run by Senna, and he managed to get a good exit. Now let's see into Abbey, if he can hold on. Yes, he can. So maybe this is where Senna starts to stretch his legs a little bit. We'll have to see. Nevertheless, oh! Transmission issue for Theo Fabi in the second Ferrari. Oh, that is so unfortunate, as he was right on in the mix there with Cheever and Hoshino and the likes. But unfortunately, Fabi is gonna pull off there, and that'll be the end of the race for the number 2 Ferrari. Does promote some of the other drivers up, and Nakajima now in the points. Yeah, very unfortunate for Ferrari there. And look, is there another fight close together here? We have Matsumoto just ahead of Alonso Jr. Anything else developing? We have the march here of Nigel Mansell and Thierry Boutsen. They're in a pretty close fight together. And the midfield here has been scrapping all season long for some points. Some cars doing better than others on some circuits, but it's a very hit and miss for some of these teams. And Nigel Mansell just behind his teammate there, Eddie Cheever, in front. He's trying to hold on in his March car, and now Boutsen getting quite close. Let's see if we can go on board with him. Yes, we can. Let's see here. You can see comparatively, it seems the March has a bit more grip than the Zach Speed. Zach Speed, quite a heavy car. Obviously, you can see by the design, it's very well, it is. The car design is quite, how would you say, aged now compared to some of the cars on the grid. Zach Speed obviously working with a limited budget, but obviously so are the Marches. And well, Williams in front isn't, but yeah, seems like they haven't had the best run. But then again, Williams is kind of working with a limited budget. Even though they're championship winners, they're still a fairly normal constructor. Doesn't have the full factory support of an engine or sort. So yeah, Boutsen not finding a way past, and Mika Hakkinen here in the second Ligier has has been doing good. He's been doing good for, he did really well in the first part of the season, but now, as we are on the halfway point of the season after this race, he is starting to drop off a little bit, so maybe he needs a bit more experience, or just needs to get his head into the game a little bit more. But obviously very young still, Hakkinen, and I'm sure he has a lot of time to develop still, as he is trying to get up to the back of Cherry Bootsen. And let's now take a look here a bit further. Michael Andretti doing a good job keeping his distance from Stefan Johansson, and Andretti surely hoping that someone ahead of him drops out and he can take advantage and maybe pick up a point here today. But definitely looking good, the Tyrrells. They've been looking fairly strong, and have done a good job developing their car, as they were fighting outside of the points, or not fighting for the points, I should say, at the start of the season. But they've done a good job catching up, and now they're at least in a position where they can put a fight up and put some contention in. And if they're lucky with a mechanical issue of one of the teams in front, they might pick up a point here and there. So they're definitely in a strong position for the second half of the season, I'd say. Meanwhile, that gap between Alain Prost and Emerson Fittipaldi remaining about the same, not much between them. As we take another look at the times, yeah, Prost taking maybe a 10th here and there, but no massive difference, for sure. And then we have Senna, who has now, like we thought, has taken a bit of distance now from Ross Cheever. With Cheever trailing behind, but nevertheless Cheever doing a very good job here in 4th place. I think if you look at him, he's so hunched forward in his car, he can barely see over the dashboard. Very aerodynamic here, Ross Cheever, which probably contributes to his good performance here at Silverstone. And following quite closely there, you can see Kazuyoshi Hoshino in the background, right on the dot, about 2 seconds behind. Let's compare their lap times if we can. So Cheever doing a 32.965, and Hoshino only, Hoshino 2 thousandths faster last lap, so not much between these guys as well. So if there is a chance for Hoshino to maybe pick up some slipstream, if Cheever makes a small mistake here or there, then he's going to be right in the fight for that 4th position, I'd say. But right now, Cheever doing a good job keeping that gap the way it is. Let's see now here, as it does seem that Johansson is slowly creeping up to the back of Michael Andretti. He has been slowly but surely working his way up. And once he can get some slipstream, he might be fighting for that 7th position. But the top 6 is definitely creating their distance between the rest of the field, as Andretti here in 7th is about 7.5 seconds behind Nakajima. But again, it only takes one mechanical issue from the top 6 for one of these guys to be inside the points, and Andretti sure looks hungry today. And Johansson now definitely closing up. Let's see if Andretti can hold on. One of the closest fights on track. That being said, we do also have here the 2 teammates from Leighton House, Nigel Mansell and Eddie Cheever. Ooh, they have a small touch there going into Abbey. That could have been a calamity for the Leighton House March Squad. And that now puts Mansell into a vulnerable position when Thierry Boutsen is gonna sneak up the inside there, so... yeah, maybe not the best idea for Mansell to fight with his teammate when they were so close to the cars behind. And now Mansell has dropped back a position, so he's lost out quite a bit there. Ooh, and now Keiji Matsumoto, throttle issue. And here he's going very slow there. And now you have Alancer Jr. and Bernd Schneider coming through. Matsumoto now having a long, as he just came past the pit, so it's gonna be... ooh, that's gonna be tough for him, I'd say. As he just came past the first corner there, so let's hope Matsumoto makes it back to the pits, but not great here for Minardi. He does get passed by quite a bit of the cars here. As Jeff Lees gets through. Actually, quite notable performance here now. Jeff Lees in 11th position. That's outside of, I think, once where the Williams was in a 6th place, I believe, at some point in one race. I'm not quite sure which one it was, and then they DNF'd that right at the death of the race. This is probably one of the highest positions one of the Williamses has been in, so I think a top 10 in any race for the Williams at this point is a big achievement. As Matsumoto is definitely making his way around here, so as he goes under bridge now, does look like he's gonna make it to the pits, so let's follow him around. Meanwhile, we do see Emerson Fittipaldi, Senna, and Cheever having their pit calls, so once again we see a bit of a how would you say, a bit of a pattern developing with Alain Prost electing to stay out. He definitely seems to prefer staying out a bit longer compared to some of these cars, and now he will have to be careful that he doesn't get undercut by the likes of Fittipaldi. There's only about 5 seconds, and once those new tires go on, might be very tricky. And ooh, it seems that there's a bit of a delay there for the Minardi squad, as they're a bit slow coming out. Seems they weren't aware of the issue, maybe, that was going on with Matsumoto, but he is managing to pit now. The one saving grace, I think, for Matsumoto at this point is that it is within the pit window. We expect 2 pit stops here for every team today, and he's definitely within the pit stop, so they probably did fuel up his car and such as well. We'll see now. Prost is gonna come into the pits 1 lap later, so he'll probably hold on to that lead, and let's see now how long it takes for the Ferrari squad. 10 seconds, 10.8 seconds. And now Fittipaldi has to make the most of that outlap, and let's see, does he get out in clear air? Not the best camera angles here. Let's try to make do. There he goes. And now, big issues here for Mika Hakkinen. Oh, a fire for Mika Hakkinen. Big fire out of the back of that machine, and you see the engine just giving up. Completely blown engine, and Hakkinen is going to try now pull off to the side here. And he is in quite a safe position as the car's going into turn 1 are on the outside there, so the marshals will be able to remove that car safely, and unfortunately means end of the race for Mika Hakkinen. Oh, and big battle here now between, who is that all there? Oh, you have Ross Cheever, who's made his pit stop, and then you have Eddie Cheever. So the 2 Cheevers close together now on track. Oh, and a big shunt there. Big shunt from Nigel Mansell into Ivan Capelli. But luckily no harm done. And 11.1 seconds there for Prost as he's trying to make his way out of the pits. And let's see now where Emerson is. Ooh. Not quite sure there. Yeah, they still seem to be quite similar when it comes to the distance. Maybe Emerson actually lost out a little bit, I'm not sure. But we will now see the pits starting to cycle, and Hoshino now in the lead. Obviously, he still has to pit, and he's leaving it very late as well. Now has Prost right onto the back of him, and yeah, Emerson Fittipaldi actually losing about half a second there in that whole pit stop sequence, I think. Let's see now if Hoshino puts up a fight here against Prost. I'm not sure if he can manage on older tires. Oh, Prost forces him off the track there. Let's see now, can Hoshino get going again? I'm not sure. Ooh, that was a very questionable move by Prost there. And I'm afraid Hoshino might be stuck in the gravel trap here. Would be very unfortunate. Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's gonna get moving again. Yeah, questionable move by Alain Prost, and unfortunately that will be the end for Hoshino, I believe. Which does mean there might be a certain, well, Michael Andretti that is going to be very happy here, I believe. You know, some of the cars, yeah, Hoshino is desperately trying to get that car moving, but Benetton of our new coming through. Still have Keiji Matsumoto all the way at the back with his issue. Oh, but it doesn't seem like there's any movement in that car. Moving very slightly, but yeah, that'll be the end of it. As you can see, the Marshall running over. And that is very, very unfortunate for Ligier here today. So both of the Ligier cars out. And Hoshino and Hakkinen will have to watch the rest of the race from the sidelines. And now, actually, wow, Emerson Fittipaldi closing up. And I'm not sure what happened, but it's been a small mistake from Prost or something, because he's now 3.8 seconds behind Prost. Not too far behind here, and Stefan Johansson now getting the pit call. Al Unser Jr., Jeff Lees, and Thierry Boutsen. Remember, we will have a second pit stop still for this race, so that can still shake up things. And here comes Johansson into the pits. Prost still leading, and again starting to slightly edge that gap between Fittipaldi and him, I believe. See Fittipaldi in the back there. And let's now see how the pit stops play out here. Cheever still in fourth. And let's see now, Cheever gets his pit call now as well, Eddie Cheever. And Moreno gets another pit call. Obviously, Moreno had to come in very early with that throttle input issue. So he's a bit on the back foot. But let's see how these pits will play out, because if I see that right, it should be perhaps gonna be Johansson that is gonna inside the points here, I believe it is. So Arrows might be able to salvage something here. And let's see here now as well. Al Unser Jr. has Bernd Schneider right behind him. So fighting for 10th place here, those two, and they have René Arnoux and Jeff Lees not far behind. Jeff Lees really extracting quite a bit from that Williams here today, as he's able to keep up with the likes of the Benetton, the Zach Speed, and the Tyrrell. Definitely not doing a bad job here, Lees. Now Roberto Moreno has come in. And Eddie Cheever as well, one of the Cheevers. And then one more car to pit there will be Nigel Mansell. He will be the last to come in for this round of pit stops. Unser really doing his best here to try and hold on from Schneider. There's not much between the two, that's pretty clear. And let's see here now, Jeff Lees now has René Arnoux behind him. And oh, of course, René Arnoux still has to pit as well, since he had an early issue. That'll create some distance for Lees and the cars behind him. Very good for Williams here. See now again, Zach Speed in their H design, losing a bit of time in the corners. They're competitive on the straights, but yeah, not an agile car per se. Mansell now in the pit, which will obviously promote Johansson up into the points for arrows, and Michael Andretti right behind, also fighting for those points. Well, now Ross Cheever, the other Cheever brother, still in fourth, and like Jeff Lees in the Williams, Ross Cheever is really extracting a whole lot out of this Minardi. And Minardi has been somewhat slowly dropping back the field. They had a really good initial start, but yeah, suffered a lot with reliability issues, and maybe they've been focusing more on that department and letting the performance go a bit. But with Ross Cheever now, they've definitely rejuvenated their fight for that third place in the Constructors, as they're trying to hunt down the Ligier squad, of course. Ligier on 28 points and Minardi on 19 points, so it'll still be hard for Minardi to catch up, because they have to count on Ligier pretty much not finishing, because they are competitive, especially Hoshino, but obviously here today, both of the Ligiers out, which is very good for the Minardi squad. Meanwhile now, I'll answer. Oh, and just as we switch to him, it's the commentator's curse. Al Unser Jr. with an engine issue there, smoke billowing out the back, and Boutsen will come past him, and he loses all power there, and he will pull to the left side of the track on the hangar straight. Very sad sight, so here, let's hope he doesn't get in the way of most of these drivers here. Trying to make way, there he goes. So yeah, good there from Al Unser Jr. recognizing that problem and pulling off safely. And that car will have to be recovered by the marshals. Unfortunate there for Tyrrell to lose one of the cars, but they still have Andretti in a very good position to fight for those points. And that means now that Rene Arnoux will move up into 16th, but he will of course still be the tail of the fields. Senna now still in 3rd place, so Lotus not having the best of spells. They did manage to score a 2nd place last time around, so it's been looking up, and they're in 5th position in the Constructors, squished right in between Minardi and the Aero squad. And, well, Lotus just needs 2 or 3 good results, and they'll be right up there again with Lee J fighting for that 3rd spot, so... But, reliability has hindered the Lotus squad quite a bit. They've DNF'd... Well, I don't know how many double DNFs they've had, but I think at least 3. And, so far in this race, good fortune looking upon them, perhaps. We will have to wait and see. Let's keep an eye on this fight here. Jeff Lees and Bernd Schneider on board with Lees. You can see Lees gaining through the corners actually, but then again the Williams struggling on that straightaway, so with some slipstream, Lees might be able to do something here. You can see he gets quite a good exit. Now as they head onto the straight, he's gonna go to the inside for Cops, and let's see, can he make something work here? No. Lifts off a little bit. Better safe than sorry for Lees. Onto the hangar straight. Lees will probably try again. Doesn't quite have the overspeed, but now does. Goes to the inside. No, backs off again. Yeah, just missing that little bit of extra power he needs to challenge into one of these corners. But for now, he'll stay behind Bernd Schneider. And Bernd Schneider really doing a good job for Zach Speed. That car is, well, getting more competitive, but definitely outperforming his teammate Boutsen. So the young German driver doing well. See now, we'll follow Lees around a bit more, see if we can catch up to Bernd again. We will do, especially here in Maggots and Beckett's, I think. Let's see. And you can just see how much more speed he's carrying through the corners. Now onto the hangar straight. Does he get a little bit of slipstream? Not quite, I don't think. Meanwhile, now we have Capelli and Moreno coming back through the field, trying to fight their way back up. And they're now chasing down Eddie Cheever. Capelli actually going a bit defensive, so big battle here between McLaren and Arrows. As Moreno will try to get past Capelli here, I'm sure. Let's see. Moreno to the inside. Will he get past? Yes, he does, and Capelli makes a mistake. So good move there by Moreno, and Capelli will drop down back behind Thierry Boutsen and Nigel Mansell. And now Moreno has a lot of clean air. Well, actually, he has to get past Eddie Cheever first. But that should be less of an issue than even Capelli. And Moreno trying to desperately fight back after that early issue. And you know, he's been also a bit of a surprise this year. He's been performing really well if and when reliability hasn't held him back. He's actually been doing very well so far. And obviously just needs a little bit of luck here and there. Let's see now, Jeff Lees has actually made his way past Bernd Schneider, and let's see now if Schneider can come back at him. Once again, gotta compliment the Williams here because they're up into 8th position. And I think they're close to matching their season best position before that DNF happened. Yeah, now through the more technical sections here, Lee's definitely creating some distance compared to the Zach speed behind him. But on the straightaways, that Zach speed will catch right back up. Now we can see at the front as well, Alain Prost slowly edging away from Fittipaldi and has now about a 6.5 seconds lead after half of the race. And Lee's slowly edging out that gap. All he needs to do is get Schneider out of that slipstream range, and then sure he can start pulling away. Which I think he might have done now. We see here a battle that might be developing. Cheever now has Moreno on to the back of him. Which, well, honestly, for Moreno, it shouldn't be too much of a hassle getting past. As, well, March just, frankly, isn't quite on the same level as Arrows at the moment. Might see that change in the second half of the season, but so far, March has only scored one single point in round 2, which makes it so that they're not last in the standings. But yeah, been their only point for the season so far, and they've been struggling to get inside that top 10. Maybe 1 point is all they need to stay ahead of Williams this year. We'll have to see. As in the meanwhile, Moreno has gotten past. Pretty simple move for him. And we can see now as well, even Capelli still trailing behind Boutsen, and you can see his teammate Prost coming up to the back of them. And hopefully now for Prost, he doesn't get hindered too much by his teammate, because that might lose him some time to Fittipaldi, even though Prost is looking pretty strong here, especially in the second stint, building out a bigger gap than he was in the first. And let's see now if he can navigate safely past his teammate and then past the other back markers. Here comes Prost now, and yes, Capelli doesn't give him a hard time at all. Prost can cleanly wake his way past as they head over the start-finish and then into Copse. Up to Maggots and Beckett's. Let's see if Boutsen in the way here. And really, Boutsen doing fairly good to keep up some speed through the high-speed section. Now it should be fairly easy here for Prost in the slipstream to get past. In that really strong McLaren car. Yeah, there we go. Boutsen will just lift a little bit early and slots in right behind. And he might be able to use a little bit of slipstream here actually to create some distance from even Capelli. Obviously, we also have Emerson Fittipaldi that has to come through, and oh no, 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 no. There's a puncture. Puncture for Bernd Schneider. And it seems like he's pulling off. Yes, he will have to pull off, so unfortunately a puncture for Bernd Schneider. Looks like the right front. And yeah, he is just pulling off. Not quite sure where he's driving to, but interesting decisions here by Schneider. Maybe he was losing control a bit on the grass there. That'll be the end of the race for one of the Zach speeds on lap 34 here of the Silverstone Grand Prix. Ross Cheever is still doing a fabulous job in 4th place, leading Nakajima about 10 seconds. And then he is about 25 or so, or 27 seconds even behind Ayrton Senna. So no way for Cheever here to challenge, I think, for a podium, but would be a very good result for Minardi to get 4th place here today, I think. Oh, meanwhile as well, issues for Eddie Cheever. Not quite sure what happened there, but he was standing off to the side there, Cheever, so he will be out of the race. Leaves us up with about 14 cars still running. But yeah, we can't quite confirm what the issue was for Cheever. Might seem like a human error. Now Moreno trying to chase down Jeff Lees, and he's doing a very good job. Let's start comparing some lap times again. So you can see here, comparatively, Moreno is 1 second faster a lap than Jeff Lees in front, and even 2 seconds than Michael Andretti. And even compared to the likes of Nakajima and Johansson, Moreno is a second faster than those guys as well. So at this rate, does he have a chance? Yes, he very much has a chance to still challenge for that point-paying position, although it will be very likely that it is with his teammate that he will be fighting then at the end of the race. I'm sure he'll give it a good go. In the end, all of these drivers are fighting for the personal standings as well, which Alain Prost is at the moment comfortably leading with 36 points compared to Fittipaldi's 24 points. And then a bit surprising, we have Kazuyoshi Hoshino in 3rd with 23, right behind Fittipaldi. Senna is in 4th in the standings, tied with Theo Fabi in 5th. And then Moreno is in 6th, so yeah, very decent for those guys. And obviously Ross Cheever now, even though he's only done, well, this is his 2nd race now, I believe. 2nd or his 3rd, I'm not quite sure. Let's He's already up into 12th in the standings, so doing a very good job. Oh, and issues now. Issues. Let's see if we can get to Ayrton Senna. Brake issues for Senna.
Try and get back.
So he will have to come into the pits. But he is going to be very slow for for about half the lap or so. Which might actually give a chance to Ross Cheever to catch up. And it does mean that Senna has to make an extra pit stop here. So in the second half of the race, again, Lotus struggling with that reliability. They still haven't gotten rid of those issues, and that's still carrying through as Senna now comes into the pits, and quite a long pit road here, so it will be a significant time loss for Senna. He will get the strap on some fresh tires, but I'm not sure if he's quite in the pit stop windows. He could be. We'll see here by the time. I think, yeah, it might be just inside the window, so he would have lost time around that last lap he was on, but for the rest he will be quite fine. So we will have to see once the rest of the field comes in for the pit stops, especially Ross Cheever here, how much of a difference there's going to be between the two. But it does mean that Ross Cheever will have some fresher tires to fight with towards, well, for the end of the race. That'll definitely be interesting. And now we see Roberto Moreno catching up to Jeff Lees, as he's within a second of Lees, and it shouldn't be too much of an issue. We're at a very high speed track, and the Williams struggles on the straight, and the Arrows really is no slouch on the straightaways. Has plenty of power to keep it going. I think on the hanger straight here we might already see a pass. Here he comes, Roberto Moreno. Not quite, but has closed up quite a bit. He's within half a second now, for sure. Right onto the back of Jeff Lees now, and surely we'll see a move here soon. They head into club, and he's gonna dive up the inside here. Ooh, but doesn't quite work, that move, so Jeff Lee's doing a very good job holding on, and now I think it is Prost coming through as well, past Roberto Moreno. Moreno just has to slot in behind the leader, being Alain Prost, for just a moment, and let him work his way past Lees now. Now Prost... Oh, actually, Lee's not too keen to move for the McLaren. But surely on the hanger straight now, Prost will get past. As some of the drivers now getting their second call for the pits, and now Moreno having a really good run there as Jeff Lee slows down for Prost. So Moreno will get through, I'm pretty sure. Yes, he does. Moreno back up into 8th position. And now he can start chasing down Michael Andretti in front, who is only about 10 seconds or so up the road, I believe, and then he can chase down his teammate, but that will be a very hard ask for the next 20 or so laps. In the meanwhile now, I think Ayrton Senna about 9 seconds behind Ross Cheever, so needless to say, Cheever will be still quite a ways behind Senna, but Senna will have have ran on a higher fuel load, and will be on older tires. So once Ross Cheever comes in, he has to take a little bit less fuel. He will be on the fresher rubber, so he could have a chance to fight back against Senna. But obviously, it would be very good for Lotus here to pick up a podium, because even though they have a good package, they have been struggling for points with their reliability issues, and Nakajima's still in the points as well, which is good. But he also has to still make a pit stop. Fittipaldi now again going for the undercut on Alain Prost. I think Ferrari sees it's the only chance they might have to do anything about Alain Prost, but it will have to be a very significant in and out lap for Fittipaldi to even try touching Prost here today. So, let's see here, as Keiji Matsumoto is also trying to fight his way back up, but he is in 11th right now, had that early issue, and will still have to come into the pits, I believe. Same with Capelli, still has to pit. He's had some spins and such, and now Mansell and Fittipaldi both come in. And Prost once again mirroring or responding, McLaren responding to Ferrari. And they will come in the next lap here. Now the Ferrari is done with that stop, and they come out. Pretty fast pit stop, as they'll need a little bit less fuel for this last stint. Ooh, and nearly a collision there between Mansell and Jeff Lee. So Jeff Lee's now right onto the back of Mansell. And is Lee's gonna try something here on the hangar straight? He has a good run. Good slipstream there as he moves to the inside. Will he be able to do something? Oh, yes, he does. Up the inside of Nigel Mansell. And now Nigel Mansell might be under fire here by Rene Arnoux. As Prost now is into the pits. See now, can we kind of get a grip on where Prost is? He's moving out of the pits now, but they're quite slow on this part. So let's see, where is Fittipaldi? No, Fittipaldi won't be close enough. Surely not. Gonna be quite a ways behind. Yeah, as Prost is already heading back up through the hangar straight. So yeah, no chance for Fittipaldi. I think he's Fittipaldi might have actually lost quite a bit of time after his pit stop. He might have gotten stuck behind someone because he's way further back than he was before. So yeah, some issues there. Still in second place, of course, so not much loss there as Cheever now comes in as well. He has a good pit stop, 8.1 seconds. He will definitely still consolidate that fourth place. And maybe he can fight back towards Ayrton Senna, but we'll have to see there. Because he is quite a ways behind. Now, the last of some of the cars, except for Keiji Matsumoto. Everyone getting their pit calls. So Matsumoto will be going for a shorter, faster stint at the end, as he now gets his call as well. Yeah, Ross Cheever now 16 or so seconds, I think, behind. Oh no, even more. I think, see here, 26 seconds behind Senna, so I don't think there will be much of a chance of him fighting back here today. As Johansson now comes into the pits. It'll be interesting to see now, because Roberto Moreno did do an undercut. Will be interesting to see where he filters out. I think he might be coming out ahead of Michael Andretti already. Where Moreno is on the track, so Moreno right behind Keiji Matsumoto. As they come now into Brooklands and then through Love Field. And I just want to see where his teammate is. He's now into Maggots and Beckett, so yeah, still quite a big gap. It seems Moreno might be getting stuck behind Matsumoto a little bit. But Matsumoto now in the pit, so Roberto Moreno will be unleashed and can push as hard as he can now till the end of the race. And we now see even Capelli here coming out right in front of Rene Arnoux. See if Rene Arnoux can put up a fight here. Going down the straightaway. We know the Benetton struggles on the straight, but can he put up a fight? Rene Arnoux. And he still has to make a single pit stop. And they have to be careful here as well, as Emerson Fittipaldi is coming up to the back of them. Fittipaldi will try to get through fast here, but it looks like he might be held up a little bit here. Actually does a good job getting past Arnoux, and now he has to get past Capelli. Which is what he will do heading into Vale. And into Club. Or that was Abbey, sorry, and then into yeah, this is Priory, Brooklands, and then Luffield, yeah. Kind of mistaken there on which part of the track we were on, but again, Fittipaldi doing a good job working through that traffic, and yeah, you can see as well, he's definitely lost so much time on his pit stop as he's now almost 20 seconds behind Prost, so I'm not sure what happened, but he must have gotten stuck behind a back marker. Or maybe gotten stuck behind someone still having to pit, not necessarily a back marker. As he's now, ooh, close there as he comes up to the back of Jeff Lees, and I think that was Nigel Mansell. But he nearly got into a collision there. A bit of an awkward spot to be overtaking. But yeah, that could have been horrible there for Fittipaldi. See now comparatively how Cheever and Senna are doing. So yeah, Cheever about 4/10, 5/10 slower. So we're not gonna see him catching up. He is faster than all the cars behind of him, so as long as he makes it to the end. Oh, and another issue here, I think. Let's see, hold on. Yes, Nakajima with an electrical issue. Nakajima with an electrical issue, so he will have to come in for another pit stop, and that will surely put Johansson, Andretti, and possibly Roberto Moreno ahead of him. He will get the chance to put on fresh tires, so he might have a really fast last stint. Doesn't need fuel anymore either. But he is losing a bucket of time here. As you can see now how fast Johansson is closing up. Johansson moving to the inside there past Nakajima and now up into 5th place for Johansson. Good now, and we'll see where Andretti is compared to Johansson. Yeah, so Andretti will definitely get past, and then Moreno might. But we'll just follow Nakajima into the pit here. See now, there's Capelli, I believe, or is that Prost? No, that's Prost. And here comes Andretti, so Andretti up into the points. He has 13 laps that he needs to hold on to this position. But he has Roberto Moreno chasing him down. And this is another important point for Tyrrell if they could hold on, because it will put them level with Zach Speed, and I believe actually they would overtake Zach Speed. They would be the same, would have the same amount of points, which would be 8, but Tyrrell has one better result actually. They've had a race where they've scored a podium position. So that was all the way at the start, I think, in the first race at Imola, I believe it was. And so on the basis of getting a better result, a higher finishing position at any point during the season means they would jump up into 7th place in the constructors. It could be very important for Andretti, but it's going to be hard for him to hold on here. That's surely a thing. And we have Nakajima, of course, now very fast, trying to chase them down as well. And let's see what the lap times are between Moreno and Andretti. So about half a second per lap, and let's see how far they are from each other. Well, I can't quite see because they're a full lap behind. That's a bit of a shame. Not sure if I can see it any other way. No, I won't be able to. So we'll just have to go off of the visuals. You can see now, you can see that Moreno can see Andretti in the distance. And there might be just enough time for him to catch up towards the end of this race. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, Alain Prost still firmly in the lead, now leading nearly half a minute over Emerson Fittipaldi. And doing a very solid job here for McLaren. Meanwhile, Ayrton Senna still in a solid third position as well. Doing good work, which again, this result would be really good for the Lotus. The Lotus team, as they've been scrambling for points. And their results have been few and far between. Now let's just keep an eye on Michael Andretti here if we can. He is doing his best, has about 11 laps more to hold on to the 6th place, but obviously Moreno chasing him down. Again at the lap time, so last time for Moreno 33.0 and a 33.3 for Andretti, so Andretti actually putting in very good laps here towards the end, and at this rate he will definitely be able to hold on to his lead, so let's hope here for Michael Andretti he can hold on. Be very important for the Tyrrell squad. Meanwhile, Ross Cheever still doing very good here for Minardi in 4th. And obviously Stefan Johansson as well. Done a very solid job taking advantage of some of the mechanical issues on display here today, and he's just ran his race and managed to pull out a decent result so far. Obviously the race isn't ran yet, so I'm not going to confirm it, but at this point in time he's doing a very solid job. And let's take a look a bit further back. We still have Nakajima as well, trying to chase down in front Roberto Moreno and Michael Andretti, but I think he's a bit too far back at this point with that issue in the second half of the race. And we have Ivan Capelli trying to do the same. He wasn't looking too competitive from the start, so I doubt he will catch up. And then Nigel Mansell for now for Leighton House March, currently inside the top 10, which would be I think a very decent result for that team. And let's hope he can carry that home. He does have Thierry Boutsen trying to contest that 10th position. And now we have Jeff Lees letting through Ayrton Senna. Senna still doing a very good job, but obviously you can just about notice that the Lotus squad is gonna, well, they are starting to drop off a bit in performance here. They had a very strong car at the start, even though they had a reliability woes. The speed was there, but now, as you can see, as they struggled a lot through that first half of the season with reliability, you can see now the performance is taking a bit of a hit. And not quite in a position anymore to challenge for those wins unless the front runners have an issue in Ferrari and McLaren. And a very respectable race here from Jeff Lee so far as well. Making the best of some poor machinery. A bit of a nightmare race here as well for Keiji Matsumoto. Really not getting quite the result that he or Martin de Knecht wants. And then Rene Arnoux just tailing the field. Benetton obviously also been struggling a bit. Arnoux not having the best of times throughout the season, and Nelson Piquet has come through here and there, but also some reliability issues, some sometimes just being unlucky, like today here, Piquet dropping out in the first lap for the race. So yeah, Benetton still has good potential to make something of the second half of the race, but they'll have to start investing heavily in the car. Oh, and now to add insult to injury for Capelli, he picks up a puncture. And you can see the car dropping down there, but he is gonna drive into the gravel pit, and that'll be race over for the number 2 McLaren. Capelli unfortunately out of the race, but obviously he wasn't in contention for any points here today, so not too much bother for Pedro Diaz and McLaren. Stefan Johansson also getting overtaken by Alain Prost. And Andretti still doing a fabulous job holding on here. Let's just keep an eye on those lap times. But yeah, Andretti doing a good job. Only giving up about 3 or 4 tenths a lap. So at this rate, he will definitely hold on to these points. That'll be very important for the team boss in Domi. And it would obviously be a massive win for the Tyrrell boys, because they've been working hard to get inside of the points, and they've only had point scoring finishes in round 1 and 2. The rest of the season has been dry on points, so yeah, it would be very good here for Tyrrell. Pick up another extra point and make them leap just past Zach speed. See there, the gap's still big enough for Andretti. Let's hope he doesn't get hindered by Emerson Fittipaldi coming through. Hope he doesn't lose too much time there. Oh, and in the last 5 laps here now, issues for Nigel Mansell, as he has an engine failure. So at the death here, Nigel Mansell will drop out of the race. You can see the smoke coming out of the back of that Latenhouse March. Oh, he's gonna have to pull off here somewhere as Boutsen comes through in the Zach speed. Sure, he'll pull off here at some point. Still has engine left. There's still sound coming out of the engine, but that won't last long, surely. He's trying to keep it going, that's for sure. He's determined. And let's see now. Comes into what I believe is club here. And man, he's been carrying this car for a long time. Oh, and there it goes. He nursed that car for about half a lap, but to no avail. And that'll be Nigel Mansell pulling out of the race, unfortunately. And yeah, he will just pull off there. Absolutely wrecks his car out of frustration into the barrier. He's a bit mad. Yeah, there goes the car. The Marshal lifting that over the barrier as well. Meanwhile, we still have Alain Prost leading in dominant fashion. Obviously, he had a bit of a poor result last time around with, well, poor is obviously relative. For McLaren, it was quite poor. They did score 5 points in total, but they scored a 4th and 5th position, which obviously isn't quite reflective of their car and driver performance. And meanwhile, Ferrari scored a solid 9 points last time around, with Emerson Fittipaldi winning the race. And so that title fight between Ferrari and McLaren only consisting of one single point at this point in time. But obviously, with this, it might be slightly extended again for McLaren. And obviously, Alain Prost will solidify his Drivers' Championship position, in which he is first, a bit more. Currently still 12 points ahead of Emerson Fittipaldi, and if this race is over and done with, he will extend that deficit to let's count there. So he will extend that deficit to a full 16 points. Or 15, I should say, I think. Yeah, it's going to be 15 points. If he wins this race, he will be ahead 15 points to Fittipaldi. Johansson definitely looks good in holding on here. Ross Cheever, very solid for Minardi. Sure, the Knecht will be very happy with the performance from the young buck. And, well, from what I've heard, he's, the Knecht has been heavily investing in his young talent, and, well, that is clearly showing off now, as, Cheever doing a very good job in the 2 races he's had, the 2 or 3 races, I don't quite remember, but scored points in the last race and is gonna do it again, comparatively to his teammates. And he's definitely making a case here for the boss, and maybe is very deserved of a primary seat for next season. We'll have to see. Petty still solid in that 6th position, keeping a good gap between him and Moreno. And this is one of those you can only feel good about, is the Tyrrell squad picking up a point. 2 laps to go, but Andretti is in a really decent position. Now Alan Prost coming through club. Down the straight into Abbey now. We'll come into Abbey, then down the farm straight. Then we go under the bridge, into Priory, then into Brooklands, and then Luffield. Then we go to Woodcote, which is a corner, but not really a corner. A slight right-hand bend, and after that right-hand bend, Alain Prost will cross the finish line, and he will start his last lap. Prost now very fast through Copse there. Started the last lap, let's go on board. One last time through Maggots and Beckett and down the Hanger Straight. And through the fast right-hander of Stowe. Down Vale into the club section. At which point he goes down the straightaway down to Abbey. And we can see a nice view here to get under the bridge here. There we go. Down to Priory. One last time through Brooklands and Luffield and Woodcote. And for Silverstone here, it will be a home victory for Alain Prost and McLaren, mainly McLaren of course, but Prost doing a very good job here, comes across the line in first place. Another victory for Prost and McLaren. And now Johansson coming across the line in 5th position. 1 lap down. And then will be Emerson Fittipaldi, not quite up to the pace of Alain Prost, but still decent result here for Ferrari. And I'm sure Machi Hilla will be pleased nevertheless, even though there's a big rivalry between him. The real story of today, Tyrrell comes home to take a single point. And they've had a dry spell since race 2, but now they have scored their single point, another one, which puts them to 8 points. So very well done by Michael Andretti, holding on to that point. Roberto Moreno just outside the points. Ross Cheever, of course, came across in 4th place and Senna in 3rd. So good points for both Minardi and Lotus. And then, Moreno just outside the points. Nakajima in 8th. Boutsen in 9th, so top 10 result for Zaxby, not bad. Jeff Lees inside the top 10, so very good result for Williams. Then Keiji Matsumoto, not the best race here today in 11th, and well, for our new, it will be one to forget as well. In 12th place, but very, very good race here today. And just good to see the boys over at Tyrrell score a point. That's definitely the highlight of the day for me. And let's see here. Once the race ticks over, we can take a look at the final results. Which is gonna happen here. So let's take a look here. Obviously, Alain Prost for McLaren wins the race at Silverstone, the home Grand Prix for McLaren. Right behind him, 27 seconds behind him will be Emerson Fittipaldi for Ferrari. So definitely not all lost for Ferrari. This is only a single race, so they're definitely very close still to McLaren. Only a small point difference in the Constructors' Championship. And then Ayrton Senna for Lotus, finally scoring some more points. So Lotus with a good second place last time around for Senna, and now another third place. So they're finally able to string a couple of results together. And then in fourth place, very well done by Ross Cheever. Very good performance for Minardi. Fifth place will be Stefan Johansson for the Arrows. So again, very solid for Johansson. Michael Andretti for Tyrrell, picking up that single point. Very important for them. Roberto Moreno in 7th. Nakajima in 8th. Boutsen in 9th. Jeff Lees in 10th. Eiji Matsumoto 11th. Rene Arnoux 12th. Nigel Mansell retiring with an engine issue, 7 laps down in 13th. Ivan Capelli out with a puncture in 14th. Eddie Cheever with a DNF in 15th. Bernd Schneider also a puncture in 16th. Engine issue for Al Unser Jr. in 17th. 18th will be Kazuyoshi Hoshino, who also had a DNF early on, together with Mika Hakkinen with an engine issue. And Teo Fabi with a transmission issue. Jeff Brabham with a throttle issue, and Nelson Piquet with a DNF in lap 1. But yeah, very eventful Silverstone race here, but definitely one worth to watch, and this spices up the Constructors' Championship quite a bit, as Lotus scores more points, Minardi as well. They're both catching up to Ligier at this point, and some more points for Arrows as well, which increases their gap to Zach Speed and Tyrrell. So yeah, very much a good race. I've enjoyed it. I hope you have as well, and we'll see you for the next one. Goodbye.